The Guild of Assassins had no rivals. Across the stars, their name was spoken with fear. They had ended kings, destroyed admirals, and silenced leaders of empires. No contract had ever been refused. Written in the Guild's dark book, they were ghosts of the galaxy, and their blades were sharper than truth itself. But on this day, when the new contract was revealed, the Hall of Assassins grew silent. The chamber was vast, filled with shadows, and metal torches that burned blue. Faces hidden under masks turned toward the hologram in the center. The image shimmered, showing a man in human armor. His eyes were cold, his jaw set like stone, and his record was written in red. The client wanted him dead. The reward was enough to buy entire moons. Yet no one spoke. For the first time in 1,000 cycles, fear touched the guild. The leader of the assassins, a tall figure draped in black armor, looked around at his killers. He saw hesitation. He saw doubt. "This is only a human," one young assassin said at last. His voice was mocking, but it shook as he spoke. "Why should we refuse this? The payment is greater than any we have ever seen." An older assassin leaned forward, his voice harsh. "Because humans are not prey." The words struck the hall like a blade. The young one laughed nervously. "They are fragile creatures. Soft skin, weak bones. Their planet is small, their fleets outdated. Why should they frighten us?" The older assassin's voice dropped lower. "Because I have seen them. I have seen what happens when you hunt them." The torches flickered as silence spread again. Every assassin in the hall leaned closer. Stories of humans were like whispers in the dark, legends that moved from one starport to another. Few believed them. Fewer spoke of them aloud. But here, among killers who feared nothing, the name human was enough to still the air. "They come from a death world," the older assassin said. "Do you know what that means? Their sky burns with storms, their seas rise to kill them. Their predators are faster, stronger, deadlier than anything you have faced. They were shaped in pain, forged in death. You understand? Humans learn to fight not to win glory, not to seek money, but to survive." The young assassin shifted uncomfortably. The leader of the guild raised his hand, cutting the whisper short. His mask gleamed in the dim light. "I too remember," he said slowly. "I fought in the Rim Wars long ago. An entire fleet was sent to erase one human warship. Dozens of cruisers, thousands of soldiers. We thought it would be quick. We thought it would be easy. It was not." The hall grew colder as he continued. The humans did not flee. They did not surrender. They fought as if the stars themselves were their weapons. Their ship burned, their crew half dead, yet they destroyed us one by one, not with strength, not with numbers, with will. The kind of will that does not break. And the smoke cleared, only one vessel drifted in the void. It was theirs. The young assassin's mouth was dry. His earlier bravado was gone. "They are only stories," he whispered, though his voice betrayed his doubt. "Stories?" the guild leader asked. He stepped forward, his cloak dragging across the steel floor. "Then tell me, where are the assassins who went after humans before you? Where are the fleets who tried? Where are the warlords who thought humans weak?" No one answered, because everyone knew. They were gone. The client's voice echoed through the chamber, cold and demanding. "The contract is clear. Human commander. Must die? Do you refuse? Do you claim fear?" The guild leader looked around once more at his assassins. They were killers of kings, slayers of empires. But none of them would speak, none would volunteer. Their silence was louder than screams. At last, the leader turned back to the hologram. His voice was iron. "This guild takes all contracts, but not this one. Hunting a human is not work for assassins. It is suicide." The hologram flickered angrily. The client tried to argue, but the connection ended. The chamber fell into stillness. The younger assassin clenched his fists, anger and shame burning in his chest. How could the greatest killers in the galaxy be afraid of one species? Yet deep inside, he felt the same cold weight pressing down on him. The guild had spoken. The contract was refused, but outside the walls of that chamber, the stars shifted. The client was not done. Somewhere in the dark, Plans were already moving. Someone would try again. Someone always did. And when they did, the galaxy would learn the truth all over again. A human is never prey. A human is the hunter. The station was old, drifting in the shadow of a dead star. Its lights flickered weakly, and its corridors smelled of rust and oil. It was the kind of place where secrets survived, where killers hid from the galaxy's eyes. And tonight, in the darkest corner of a forgotten tavern, whispers of humans were rising again. The younger assassin who had mocked the guild sat with others now. His pride was wounded after the refusal of the contract. He still believed humans were overrated, legends born from fear. But the older assassins gathered around the table spoke with voices that carried weight, voices hardened by scars. "You think humans are weak," one scarred veteran said, his eye glowing with an artificial implant. "I thought the same once, till I faced them." The younger assassin leaned forward. "Tell me then. Tell me why your guild trembles at their name. Tell me why a whole hall of killers refused a fortune." The old assassin took a long breath. His fingers tapped against the metal cup in front of him. "Because I saw an empire burn when humans were provoked." The table grew silent. Even the hum of the station's engines seemed to fade. "It was the siege of Carthos," the old one continued. 1,000 ships against a single human fleet. They were outnumbered. Their weapons were outdated. By all logic, they should have been destroyed in the first strike. The younger assassin smirked, and yet they won, I suppose. Another heroic tale, the veteran's glowing eye narrowed. "You don't understand. They did not just win. They made us fear the stars themselves. Their ships moved like predators, silent and patient. They used the darkness, the asteroids, even the wrecks of our own vessels as weapons. Every time we thought we had trapped them, they were already behind us. And when they struck, it was with fury that no machine could match." Another assassin at the table nodded slowly. Her voice was low, almost reverent. "I was there too, on the opposite side. I saw their soldiers fight on the ground. Do you know what humans do when they run out of ammunition?" The younger one raised an eyebrow. "They keep fighting," she said simply. "With blades, with fists, with stones if they must. They do not stop. They do not surrender. It is not in their blood. I watched a human soldier break the jaw of a warrior 3 times his size after his weapon failed, until his heart stopped, and even then his enemies bled." The young assassin shifted in his seat. He wanted to laugh, but something in the woman's tone stopped him. It was not exaggeration, it was memory. Another voice joined in from the shadows. A figure cloaked in rags leaned forward, revealing a face half-burned. His voice cracked with age. "Do you know why assassins fear the humans more than soldiers do?" The younger assassin looked at him with narrowed eyes. "Why?" "Because assassins rely on shadows, on fear, on surprise. But humans live with fear every day. Their world gives them no rest. Storms, quakes, predators. They were born in the shadows we hide in. You cannot frighten them. You cannot break them with tricks. They are already broken, and yet they stand." The young assassin's bravado faltered. He looked around the table and saw only grim faces. Men and women who had seen too much to lie. "You are all cowards," said finally, though his voice was softer than before. "You tell ghost stories in the dark to hide your shame. I will prove you wrong. I will hunt one myself. And when I return, you will see that humans are no more dangerous than any other prey." The scarred veteran slammed his cup down, the sound echoing through the tavern. His eye glowed brighter, and his voice was a growl. "You won't return. None ever do. It will smell your fear before you even see them. And by the time you realize you were the prey, it will already be too late." But the younger assassin had made his decision. His pride was stronger than his caution. He stood and turned, his cloak sweeping across the floor. "We'll see," he said. "I will bring back proof. When I do, your legends will finally die." The older assassins watched him go, their faces heavy with pity. They had seen too many like him, young, arrogant, eager to make a name, and they knew what fate waited for him far away. In the endless dark between the stars, a human ship drifted silently, its systems awake, its crew sharp. They had heard the whispers too. They knew someone was coming, and they were already waiting. The young assassin's ship slipped into the silent system like a knife through the dark. His heart raced with excitement, not fear. Pride filled him as he gripped the controls. He would succeed where others had failed. He would kill a human, and the galaxy would whisper his name with awe. His scanners flickered across the stars. Empty signals. Dead satellites. No defense fleets. No patrols. It was too quiet. He smiled. So this is the terror of the galaxy, he muttered. Nothing but shadows. But shadows have teeth. The first warning came as a flicker on his screen. A signal faint and fast, too quick to track. He tightened his grip, scanning again. Nothing, just emptiness. His ship's AI whispered a soft alarm, its voice trembling. Unidentified trace detected. Probability of hostile presence, 78%. He smirked. So they're watching me. Good. Let them know who comes for them. His engines roared as he pushed deeper into the system. The stars stretched thin around him, and his weapons charged, locked onto the faint trail of energy and fired. Brilliant beams cut the void, but struck nothing. The target was gone before the weapons even reached it. The AI screamed another warning. Object approaching from the rear. He spun his ship sharply, systems straining. Screens were blank. No ships, no signals, just the vast silence of the void. And yet he could feel it. Something was there, watching, waiting. He swallowed hard, forcing his nerves down, cloaking tricks. That's all it is. He fired again into the dark, random bursts, desperate to reveal the hidden shape. But the space before him remained empty. Then the whisper came. A sound, faint but clear-cut through his cums. Not machine noise, a voice, a human voice. Cold and calm. You should not have come here. The assassin froze, his blood running cold. He shut down his cums, switched frequencies, scrambled his signals. But the voice remained. Louder now, closer. You think you are the hunter, but in this place, you are only prey. His hands shook as he pulled his blades free, though they were useless in space. His ship's alarms flared red, sensors screaming of an object closing in fast. He spun again, desperate to catch sight of it, but the void remained dark. Suddenly his engines died. The hum of power that had carried him through 1,000 hunts vanished. The lights flickered and dimmed. His ship was dead in the water. No, no, this cannot be, he whispered, his chest tight. He slammed the controls, trying to restart systems, but nothing answered. His weapons froze, his shields collapsed. He was blind, and then he saw it. From the edge of the darkness, a shape emerged, huge, black, and silent. A human ship. Its surface shimmered with scars of old battles, but it moved with the grace of a predator. It glided closer without a sound, as if the void itself obeyed it. The assassin's throat tightened. He had hunted across 100 worlds, faced beasts and armies, but never had he felt this fear. It was not the size of the ship. It was the feeling it carried the weight of something that did not stop, did not hesitate. His cums sparked once more. It's the same human voice, steady and unshaken. You came for me. Now I have come for you. His mouth went dry. He reached for the emergency beacon, hoping to send a signal back to the guild. His fingers shook as he pressed it, but no light answered. The human ship had already killed the signal. He was alone. His eyes darted to the window as the ship loomed closer. Its weapons were not glowing. No fire, no missiles. Just silence. That was worse. The silence was a promise. His breathing grew faster. His vision blurred. He realized then what the older assassins had meant. Humans did not frighten because of their strength. They frightened because they waited. They let fear grow like fire until their prey broke from within, the assassins. Last thought before the void swallowed him was not of glory nor of victory. It was the sound of that calm voice echoing in his skull. Humans are the hunters. Always. His ship's systems went black. His body slumped forward. In the endless silence of the stars, the human vessel vanished once more, leaving nothing but a dead ship drifting in the dark. News traveled fast in the assassin networks, faster than any ship. A young killer had gone hunting for a human. He had not returned. His ship was found drifting, dead and cold, its systems cut to pieces. The body was never recovered. At first, the guild tried to hide it. They spoke no words of failure. But whispers do not stay buried. Across the black markets, on secret stations, in the dens where assassins gathered, the story spread like fire. Another hunter gone, another name erased, another warning carved into the galaxy. In a shadowed chamber, 3 guild leaders met in silence. Their voices were hushed, but their fear could not be hidden. One assassin does not matter. One said, though his hands shook. The young are reckless. He underestimated his prey. That is all. The second leader leaned forward, her eyes sharp and cold. Do you forget the others? How many have vanished? How many ships lost? This is no longer chance. This is certainty. Humans cannot be hunted. The first snarled in anger, but his voice cracked. If we admit this, if we spread fear, we will lose power. We are assassins. We do not fear anything. The third leader, older and quieter, spoke at last. We already fear them, every one of us. Even to say their name makes our blood turn cold. Tell me, when was the last time you heard a contract taken against them and completed? When was the last time a human's blood was spilled by our blades? The chamber grew silent. There was no answer. Far away on a mining colony, assassins gathered around a flickering holoscreen. The faces of human soldiers appeared miniatures from past wars, battles where entire fleets vanished. The assassins whispered among themselves. Some swore the humans had made deals with death itself. Others said their planet had poisoned them in too. Predators, a world so cruel that survival made monsters of men. On a smuggler's ship, an assassin turned down the sound on his comms. A new message glowed. Massive bounty increased. Double payment. Human commander target. Immediate strike requested. The client was furious. The guild had refused once, but now the price was higher than any in history. Enough to buy a star system. It's enough to tempt even the cautious. But fear and greed battled in every heart. Some laughed nervously. Money means nothing if you're dead, one assassin muttered. Others clenched their fists. If we don't take this, we are no longer feared. We will look like cowards. On a hidden world, deep in a cave carved by centuries of secrecy, an old assassin spoke to his students. His voice was dry like sand. Do not be fools. Humans are not like the others. They do not run when cornered. They do not surrender when outnumbered. They fight until there is nothing left, and even then, something remains. They have a will sharper than any blade, but pride is a dangerous thing. Pride blinds. Within days, ships began to gather. Not one, not two, but fleets. Entire bands of assassins joined together, some out of greed, some out of desperation to prove themselves. They told themselves the legends were lies. They told themselves numbers would win. As the armada formed, their leaders spoke with hollow courage. We are assassins. We are shadows. We strike where others cannot. If humans bleed, we will make them bleed. But beneath the speeches and the private silence of their chambers, they packed their things in secret, as if expecting never to return. The galaxy watched. Merchants, smugglers, pirates, even soldiers of distant empires all waited to see. Would the assassins succeed, or would they vanish as so many before? In the human-controlled systems, silence reigned. The humans sent no threats, no warnings, no broadcasts. Their ships did not move, their soldiers did not march. They simply waited, as if certain of what was coming. The assassins told themselves silence meant weakness. But in the back of their minds, they knew. Silence was the sound before the strike. The fleet of assassins burned through the stars, their engines leaving trails of fire in the dark. Hundreds of killers prepared for glory, their weapons charged, their blades sharp. Yet in every shadowed corner of the galaxy, one truth was whispered again and again. A human is not prey. A human is the hunter, and the hunters were coming. The assassin fleet entered the human system like a storm. Dozens of ships, black and sharp, engines burning bright against the void. They came with silence, with confidence, with blades ready. Their leaders told themselves this was the moment. They would erase the fear that had haunted their guild for centuries. The first hours were quiet. Too quiet, their scanners found nothing. No defense fleets, no warning satellites, no transmissions from colonies, only silence. It felt wrong. The system was alive, its sun burning bright, its planets circling faithfully, but it was empty. The assassins mocked the legends. So this is the terror of humanity? One captain said with a sneer. Silent system, undefended and weak. Perhaps they are already gone. But the silence was not weakness. It was a trap. The first strike came, without warning. A shadow slipped past their flank, a single human vessel gliding as if it were part of the dark itself. Before the assassins could lock weapons, the human ship fired. One assassin cruiser lit up in fire, breaking apart before its crew even screamed. The fleet spun into chaos. Skanos tried to track the human, but every time a lock was found, the target vanished again. Another ship burned. Then another. The assassins roared into the comms, shouting for formation, demanding targets. But the void only answered with death, and then the humans appeared. Not one, not two, but many. Their ships slid out of the dark like predators there. Engines whispering low, their weapons cold and precise. They did not fire in panic. They did not rush. They struck with patience, with timing. With deadly skill, the assassins fired everything missiles, plasma bolts, beams of pure energy. The space lit up like a burning star. But the humans were faster. They moved through the chaos as if they had written the battle before it began. In minutes, 5 assassin ships were gone. Explosions painted the dark, drifting wreckage the only sign of their presence. On the bridge of one assassin flagship, the commander's hand shook as he screamed orders. His eyes darted across the screens, but every scan returned the same answer. Enemy advantage 100%. This cannot be, shouted. We outnumber them 3-1. But numbers meant nothing here. The humans did not fight for gold. They did not fight for reputation. They fought with something deeper, something the assassins had never understood. They fought to win. A desperate assassin tried to ram a human ship, his engines screaming at full power. For a moment, it looked like he would succeed. But the human vessel twisted with impossible grace, sliding past him, and unleashed a single shot. The assassin's ship broke apart instantly, its remains scattering into the void. Fear began to spread. Voices on the comms trembled. Some assassins begged to retreat. Others cursed, swearing they could still win if they struck harder. But the humans gave them no time to argue. One by one, assassin vessels vanished in fire. How their fleet was breaking, their pride crumbling. Then, in the chaos, the human voice came again, cold, calm, without anger, without fear. You came to hunt us. Now you see the truth. We are not prey. The assassins froze. The voice was everywhere, on every channel, echoing across the fleet. No matter how they tried, they could not shut it out. The fleet's second-in-command shouted in rage, his voice. Kraken, do not listen. They're trying to break us with words. Fight, you cowards. Fight. But his words fell into silence. The assassins had already begun to see, had already begun to believe. In less than an hour, half their fleet was gone. Wrecks drifted across the system, fires glowing weakly in the void. The survivors pulled back, their ships limping, their pride shattered. On the human flagship, the commander stood tall. His eyes were steady, his voice calm as he gave the order to cease fire. They had made their point. The assassins would live, but they would carry the memory of this day forever. The galaxy had believed the assassins were the hunters, the ones no one could escape. But tonight, under the cold stars, that belief had died, because the assassins had learned the truth with fire and blood. Humans do not run, humans hunt. and the hunt had only just begun. The assassin awoke to silence. Cold metal pressed against his back, and dim lights glowed above him. For a moment he thought he was dead. Then the ache in his chest and the tightness in his wrists told him otherwise. He was alive, but a prisoner. He sat up slowly, his eyes adjusting to the dim light. The room was small, bare, and clean. There were no chains, no torture devices, no threats painted on the walls, just silence. This was not how prisoners were treated. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Human entered. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and dressed in simple military armor. His eyes were sharp, but they did not burn with cruelty. They were calm. The assassin braced himself, waiting for the strike, the pain, the punishment. Instead, the human placed a tray of food on the table and spoke with a steady voice. "You are safe here." The assassin laughed bitterly. "Safe? I am your enemy. You should have killed me already." The human shook his head. "We don't kill for sport. We kill when we must. That is the human way." The words cut deeper than any blade. The assassin glared, but inside he felt something else: confusion. No prey ever spoke like this. No prey ever showed mercy. The human stepped closer and activated a holoscreen on the wall. Images filled the room. Battles, explosions, entire fleets breaking apart under human fire. Armies retreating, worlds falling silent. The assassin watched in stunned silence as history unfolded before him. "These are the ones who came before you," the human said. "Armadas larger than yours, empires stronger than your guild. All of them thought we were weak. All of them thought they could hunt us." The images shifted to burned wreckage drifting in space. Ships split apart, soldiers defeated. "We're wrong." The assassin's throat tightened. His people had told stories of human ferocity, but seeing the truth was different. This was not legend. This was proof. "You think we fight for money?" the human continued. "You think we fight for power? But that is not why we fight. Humans fight to protect. We fight for each other. That is why you cannot break us. Is why every fleet sent against us falls." The assassin clenched his fists. "Then why spare me? Why show me this?" The human studied him quietly. "Because you were not the first assassin sent, and you will not be the last. Your people need to understand. Hunting us means only one thing: death. But we don't want endless war. We want peace. We want to live. That is the human way." The assassin shook his head, anger boiling in his chest. "Peace? You call this peace? You slaughtered half our fleet?" The human's expression did not change. "We let the rest live." "Ask yourself, if the roles were reversed, would your guild have done the same?" The assassin opened his mouth to argue, but no words came. He remembered the way his guild trained him, the lessons drilled into his bones. Strike fast, kill clean, leave no survivors. Mercy was weakness. And yet here he was alive. The holoscreen shifted again. This time it showed human soldiers on the ground, helping civilians, carrying children, guarding the weak. They were fierce in battle, but gentle afterward. The assassin's jaw tightened. He could not understand it. "You see," the human said softly, "we are not monsters, but we will never bow. You come for us, we will fight until nothing remains. That is why your guild fears us. That is why your legends are true." The assassin stared at the floor. For the first time in his life, doubt poisoned his pride. He had believed humans were prey, soft and fragile. But now he saw the truth. They were strong not because of their weapons, but because of their will. The human turned to leave, pausing at the door. His voice was calm, almost gentle. "You will be released. You will carry this message back to your guild. Tell them what you have seen. Tell them why they should never hunt us again." The door closed, leaving the assassin alone with the images still burning on the holoscreen. His heart pounded, his thoughts twisted. He wanted to deny it, to cling to the pride of his guild. But deep inside he knew. The humans had shown him something no assassin had ever returned to tell. The truth: hunting them was not just dangerous, it was suicide. The assassin returned to his guild with eyes that no longer burned with pride. He carried no trophies, no proof of victory, only silence. His fellow killers gathered around him, eager for news, desperate for a story that would erase the fear. But when he spoke, his voice was low and his words were heavy. "They let me live," he said. "The humans spared me. They wanted me to bring you a message. Hunting them means death. They are not prey. They are the hunters." The hall erupted in chaos. Some assassins laughed, calling him a coward. Others sneered, accusing him of betrayal. But in the shadows, the older killers said nothing. Their eyes told the truth they already knew. The guild leaders listened in silence. For a long time, no one spoke. Then the eldest leaned forward, his voice soft but sharp. "If the humans did not kill you, then they wanted something." "Wanted us to hear this? Why? Why now?" The assassin shook his head. "Because someone is pushing us against them. Someone is paying us to fight battles that are not ours." The room fell still. The thought had been there all along, hidden beneath. Greed and pride? Who was the client? Who was so desperate to see humans destroyed that they would throw assassins to certain death? The guild began to search. Silent hunters became spies, slipping through networks of crime and politics. Names appeared, names of merchants, names of lords, names of thieves. But one truth rose above the noise. The contract had not come from desperation. It had come from fear. At last, the truth was revealed. The client was not a smuggler, not a rival guild, not even a lone madman. It was an empire. A vast alien empire, rich and powerful, whose leaders had watched humanity from the shadows. They feared the rise of humans more than anything else. One assassin stood in disbelief. An empire? Why would they need us? They have armies, fleets, weapons beyond measure. The guild leader answered grimly, "Because they know. They have seen what happens when they face humans openly. Their soldiers break, their fleets fall, so they hire us instead. They hope shadows can succeed where armies failed." Whispers filled the chamber. The assassins realized they had been pawns, sent to their deaths by rulers too afraid to fight their own battles. Pride turned to anger. "They use us like tools," one assassin spat. "They feed us into the jaws of death. While they hide behind their thrones," another hissed, "and if we keep obeying, there will be nothing left of us. Humanity will erase us as easily as they erase those fleets." The guild leader's eyes narrowed. Perhaps it is not the humans we should fear. Perhaps it is the empire that dares to play games with shadows. In that moment, the guild began to change. No longer united in pride, they were divided by anger, fear, and betrayal. Some still wanted to fight, desperate to prove themselves. Others wanted nothing more to do with humans, warning that the path only led to death. The assassin who had been spared sat in silence. He remembered the humans' calm words, the quiet mercy. He remembered the images of fleets destroyed, armies broken. He remembered the truth in the humans' eyes. We don't start wars, but we end them. Outside the guild, the empire prepared. Its leaders whispered promises of greater rewards, greater power, if the humans were destroyed. But in their secret chambers, they trembled. They knew what was coming. For when humans discovered who had placed the bounty, they would not sit in silence. They would come. The assassins watched the stars, uneasy. Some still dreamed of glory. Some dreamed only of survival. But all of them knew the same truth: the client had made a mistake. By hunting humans, they had not just angered a guild. They had awakened predators who never stopped until the hunt was finished. And in the endless silence of space, a human fleet stirred. Engines hummed, weapons warmed, eyes turned toward the empire that had dared to challenge them. The assassins had failed. Empire would be next. The galaxy did not yet understand, but it would soon learn. Hunting humans was not a contract. It was a death sentence. The stars burned cold above the Empire's capital world. War fleets circled like shields of steel, thousands of ships standing ready. The rulers had given their orders: if humanity came, it would be met with fire. But fire could not stop the storm that was coming. On the far edge of the system, space trembled. A single human ship appeared, its hull black as midnight, its weapons sleeping, but awake enough to terrify every watcher. The assassins had warned them. The stories had spread, yet the Empire still believed numbers could crush humans. Their admirals laughed. "One ship? That is all? We will burn them before they reach the first moon." Orders were given. The fleets moved forward. Thousands of cannons lit up the darkness. Beams of fire, missiles, rail-shot ocean of death filled the void. The sky itself seemed to shatter. But when the light cleared, the human ship was still there, untouched, silent, waiting. Then it spoke. A single transmission carried on every channel, heard in every language. "This is humanity's answer." "What?" "Placed a bounty on our kind. You sent assassins, armies, fleets. You chose this war. Now you will learn why others call us Death Worlders." The ship moved. What followed was not a battle. It was a massacre. The human vessel tore through the Empire's fleets as if they were paper. Cannons that could shatter moons were silenced in seconds. Dreadnoughts, each the pride of a system, vanished in clouds of fire. Squadrons of fighters tried to swarm, only to be erased by a single sweep of light. The assassins watched from hidden ships, silent and afraid. They had seen death before, but never like this. This was not killing, it was judgment. The Empire's admirals screamed for retreat. Some ships fled, some surrendered, but it made no difference. Humanity did not chase. It destroyed only what fought. The rest were ignored, left alive to spread the story. On the capital world, panic spread. The rulers who had hired the assassins, who had hidden behind gold and shadows, now begged for mercy. They sent messages across every channel, offering surrender, tribute, anything to survive. The human ship did not answer. Instead, it came closer, past the burning fleets, past the shattered defenses, past the last desperate weapons of the Empire. It stopped above the capital, its shadow covering entire cities. Then the voice returned, calm, cold, final. "This ends now. No more bounties. No more shadows. You feared us, so you tried to erase us. But humanity does not kneel. We do not hide. We endure. We fight. When we are hunted, we become the hunters." For a long moment, silence hung over the world. Billions held their breath. And then, the human ship turned. It did not fire. It did not destroy. Simply left, vanishing into the black sea of space as quickly as it had come. The Empire's fleets were broken, its pride shattered, its rulers humbled. Humanity had made its point, but the galaxy had learned something far greater. The assassins whispered it among themselves. Carrying it from world to world, hunting humans was not possible. No contract could ever succeed. No empire could ever win, because humanity was not prey. They were the storm. They were the end. And now, every assassin, every smuggler, every emperor and warlord across the stars knew the truth, taking a contract against. Humans was not a job. It was certain death.